job site safety is not just about compliance like with OSHA. It's about protecting workers. It's about minimizing a risk to the company. OSHA citations can have drastic impacts on the project, on the business. They cause project delays. I mean, particularly if you're unfortunately dealing with a death claim, the job can be shut down when OSHA gets there. There's equipment involved. That equipment could be offline, off use, which obviously impacts the project while that's being investigated. We implementing robust safety policies and procedures, really focusing on ongoing training. I mean, training is so important. The OSHA citations that I've been involved in, besides the injury out there, besides the lack of enforcement, I'm seeing employers get hit up for lack of training. And it's not to say that companies don't train, but the key is, can you prove that you train the employee? I mean, I was recently involved in one where we know the employee was trained. The employee had well over, I think over a year experience operating a particular machine, and during the cleaning of that machine, unfortunately suffered a severe injury. From what I learned from the client, there was ongoing training. They had outside companies come in to give videos, but where was the sign-in sheet that I could prove that the employee got trained? And unfortunately, we couldn't produce that. And so, really, it's not just about having not even initial training, but ongoing training, refresher training, but documenting that with the employees to show that they actually got specific training, so that ultimately, if something does happen, and it's not just about the training, it's about enforcement. If you have safety policies in place, but your supervisors, your managers are not enforcing that, then you're going to get hit up with an OSHA violation for lack of enforcement. Now you might get that anyway, but when you've got these robust safety policies in place, you've got ongoing training, and you've got managers who are implementing that. Somebody does something wrong, okay, like retraining, redirection. Maybe they get something written up in their file saying, hey, you should do this, better. So ultimately, if the employee decides to go off the reservation and not follow the safety that they've been told, then maybe that's a defense, employee misconduct. But implementing those can help avoid the citations. But if you end up getting the OSHA citation, then obviously that gives us some defense to try to either minimize the fines. And that's the other thing, not just the job being delayed, but the fines could be substantial, particularly if it's a repeat violation. Sometimes you have no choice but to fight it just because the fine is so significant. So we work with clients to try to implement those policies, but there's always going to be risk. So obviously, to Angela's point, on the front end, you want to work with attorneys, whether it's me in the construction space, or OSHA, or Jason with real estate, or Angel on business stakes, or Josh, he's going to talk about workers' comp, Talia with employment. It's not being penny wise, pound foolish, but working with attorneys to try to minimize those risks, going through the contracts, so whether your handbooks, your employee handbooks, safety policies and procedures, it definitely helps try to minimize the risk to the company.